Hello fellas. Welcome back to Top 5 Choices. Today's video I am gonna do a detailed review and pick the top 5 best mobile phones under $300. After doing proper researches, we came to the conclusion that meets the best in terms of overall. Kindly leave a like if you find this helpful, and I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications if you haven't. We'll be back with more videos. The POCO M3 Pro 5G is not too thick at 8.92mm and doesn't feel very heavy at 190G. Ergonomics are good, and the volume and power buttons have good tactile feedback. There is a headphone jack, and also an IR emitter for controlling infrared gadgets and appliances. The capacitive fingerprint sensor is integrated into the recessed power button on the right side of the frame. The 6.5-inch Full HD Plus display is sharp, with good color reproduction. However, its maximum brightness could have been better. There is an ambient light sensor, but this phone felt a bit sluggish at adapting the screen's brightness to my surroundings, and I often had to increase or decrease it manually. The display has Corning Gorilla Glass 3 for protection. The POCO M3 Pro 5G uses the MediaTek Dimensity 700 SoC, which is very similar to the Dimensity 800U except for its lower clocked CPU cores and a slightly slower GPU. The RAM and storage used here are LPDDR4X and UFS 2.2 respectively. The M3 Pro 5G also has dual-band Wi-Fi AC, FM radio, Bluetooth 5.1, and a hybrid dual-SIM slot. The phone has a 5000 mAh battery with support for 18W fast charging. The phone runs on MIUI 12.0.2 at the time of this review, based on Android 11. The Realme Narzo 35G uses a MediaTek Dimensity 700 processor, which is the same one you'd get with the Realme 8 5G and the POCO M3 Pro 5G. It features an integrated 5G modem which supports several 5G bands and offers dual 5G standby. The Narzo 35G is available in a single RAM and storage configuration, and uses LPDDR4X RAM and UFS 2.1 storage. Connectivity options include dual-band Wi-Fi AC and Bluetooth 5.1. The Narzo 35G offers a triple-slot tray with space for 2 nano SIMS and a microSD card of up to 1 TB. The device has a 5000 mAh battery and supports 18W charging. The Narzo 35G runs Realme UI 2.0, which is based on Android 11. It looks clean and runs smoothly, but there are also several pre-installed apps. All the third-party apps can be uninstalled if not needed. The HeyFun app and the native browser app frequently push promotional notifications, but these can be silenced in the notification settings. The Narzo 35G's display got quite bright at 600 nits and was legible in direct sunlight. However, the protective glass, like the back panel, got smudged easily with daily use. The Redmi Note 10s and the Redmi Note 10 look identical, making it impossible to distinguish between the two unless you get the newer model in its exclusive deep sea blue color. This new option has a gradient finish which looks fresh. Just like the Redmi Note 10, the Note 10s is also available in subtle colors such as shadow black and frost white. The Redmi Note 10s is a relatively slim smartphone, measuring 8.29mm, and it weighs 179g. The polycarbonate back is curved along the sides, which makes it comfortable to hold. The camera module is on the left of the rear and doesn't protrude much. There is a silver highlight around the new 64-megapixel primary camera to draw attention to a dot at the front. The Redmi Note 10s has a 6.43-inch AMOLED display with Corning Gorilla Glass 3 for protection. You'll see a sizable camera hole at the top. The display has thin bezels on the sides while the chin is noticeably thicker. The frame of the Redmi Note 10s is made out of plastic. It is curved on the sides and relatively flat at the top and the bottom. The power button has an integrated capacitive fingerprint scanner and is well positioned on the right side of the phone, along with the volume buttons. The Redmi Note 10s has stereo speakers with a speaker each on the top and bottom. An IR emitter, commonly seen on Redmi smartphones, is at the top along with the secondary microphone. The USB Type-C port and 3.5mm headphone jack are at the bottom. You get IP53 dust and water resistance on the Redmi Note 10s, which isn't very common in this price range. You'll also see a rubber flange around the SIM tray to help prevent water from entering the device. The battery capacity remains unchanged compared to the Redmi Note 10 at 5000 mAh. You get a 33W charger in the box, which is a good addition considering the price of this smartphone. The Redmi Note 10s packs in a more powerful MediaTek Helio G95 processor than the Qualcomm Snapdragon 678 in the Redmi Note 10. This processor is paired with 6GB of LPDDR4X RAM, and you get to choose between 64GB and 128GB of UFS 2.2 storage. There is also a dedicated slot for storage expansion. The Redmi Note 10S has an AMOLED display with a Full HD Plus resolution and a peak brightness of 1100 nits. It has good viewing angles and was legible under sunlight. You can also adjust the color scheme and color temperature of the display to suit your needs. The Redmi Note 10S supports Bluetooth 5, dual-band Wi-Fi, VoLTE, and VO Wi-Fi. Motorola Moto G40 Fusion Mobile was launched on April 20, 2021. The phone comes with a 6.80-inch touchscreen display with a resolution of 1080 x 2460 pixels. Motorola Moto G40 Fusion is powered by an octa-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 732G processor. It comes with 4GB of RAM. The Motorola Moto G40 Fusion runs Android 11 and is powered by a 6000 mAh battery. The Motorola Moto G40 Fusion supports proprietary fast charging. As far as the cameras are concerned, the Motorola Moto G40 Fusion on the rear packs a triple camera setup featuring a 64-megapixel primary camera with an f/1.7 aperture, an 8-megapixel camera with an f/2.2 aperture, and a 2-megapixel camera with an f/2.4 aperture. The rear camera setup has autofocus. It has a single front camera setup for selfies, featuring a 16-megapixel sensor with an f/2.2 aperture. Motorola Moto G40 Fusion is based on Android 11 and packs 64GB of inbuilt storage that can be expanded via microSD card, up to 1000 GB. The Motorola Moto G40 Fusion is a dual SIM, GSM and GSM, mobile that accepts nano-SIM and nano-SIM cards. The Motorola Moto G40 Fusion measures 169.60 x 75.90 x 9.80 mm, height x width x thickness, and weighs 225.00 grams. It was launched in dynamic gray and frosted champagne color. The Realme 8's design is heavily focused on making it slim and light, and it does a very good job here. The all-plastic body helps it achieve a comfortable weight of just 177 g, and it isn't very thick either at 7.99 mm. Both these figures are big improvements over the hefty Realme 7. The plastic back is a bit of a letdown, since the edges picked up scuff marks very easily. A glass back could have prevented this. The buttons on the Realme 8 have good feedback. At the bottom, we have the speaker, headphone jack, and USB Type-C port. The big change compared to the Realme 7 lies in the display, which is a 6.4-inch Super AMOLED panel with a Full HD Plus resolution, rather than an LCD panel. This is the first time Realme's non-Pro number series has received the AMOLED treatment. With this display, you also get a speedy in-display fingerprint sensor, but you sacrifice the 90Hz refresh rate that the Realme 7 offered. The display has a screen protector pre-applied, but there's no official mention of reinforced glass, which previous models had. When we asked Realme, a company representative told us that it has used Dragon Trail glass on the Realme 8. The Realme 8 is one of the more comfortable phones I've reviewed recently and should be easy to live with, especially considering it has a 5000 mAh battery. However, I think Realme could have done a lot more to up the premium quotient, such as offering a glass back instead of plastic. The box contents include a 30W charger, Type-C cable, case, and SIM eject tool. Having an AMOLED display instantly livens up images and videos, making the Realme 8 a good device for media consumption. The display's contrast levels are good and brightness is more than adequate even for outdoor use.